Hi, I'm Julie Martin. For those of you who have worked with me before and been in my classes, you know I no longer use a chaturanga in my vinyasas. And I've been playing around with a couple different varieties, and one of my favorite ones is what I call the waving vinyasa. And this, what it does is it alleviates the pressure on the shoulders and puts more of the responsibility into integrating the front and the back of the spine. So engaging through the front of the body to roll forward, engaging through the back of the body to lift the chest up. And we're basically going between downward facing dog and upward facing dog in a nice rolling motion. I've got two versions that I'm going to show you today. The first one is what I call the baby wave, and that's for those of you who are perhaps new to any kind of yoga practice, or people that are sensitive on the wrists or have some shoulder issues that they want to keep protecting, which is fine. So I'm going to start with the baby wave. And basically you want to come to all fours in order to measure yourself, how far away you are. And knees in line with the hips. And the first action is just a cat and cow action. This is just the preliminary to get the right idea. So when I'm doing cat, I'm going to inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest, lift the tailbone. Now from here I'm thinking I'm dragging my hands slightly back. What this is doing is allowing me to engage through the upper back, keep the serratus and the obliques helping out as part of the process, and help to keep the shoulder blades in the right place. So when the chest is lifted, the hands are dragging back. Then I reverse it into the cow pose and around, tucking the chin in, tailbone under. Now the action with my hands is pushing them slightly forward, which is also helping the serratus stay engaged. It's allowing the front of my body to help engage to support the length in the back of the body. So when the back is rounded, I'm slightly pushing forward. When the back is arched, I'm slightly dragging back. So it's getting that grounding, hands into the core. Okay, so our first stage of the actual wave is to take your hands about 10 centimeters or so in front of your shoulders. And then round in the back and move your hips towards your heels without moving all the way into child's pose. So the first action is to inhale round the back. I'm watching my navel. Notice I'm keeping my chin tucked in all the way until my shoulders are above my wrists, and then I start to drag the hands back, lift the chest through, roll the shoulder blades back and down. Here I should feel like I've got enough support through the feet and through the legs so that I've got some mobility in my spine still. I don't want to get static or really stuck in any particular position. When I'm ready to move back towards that almost child's pose, I push the hands forward, round in the back again, and continue back till I'm almost at my heels. So again, inhale, push from the feet, round in the back. When the shoulders are over the wrists, then change direction with the hands. Hands dragging back, chest moving forward, shoulder blades nice and relaxed down the back. And then push the hands forward to round in the back and send the hips back towards the heels. So that's just the preparation, again, for those of you who have wrist issues and shoulder problems. But hopefully once you start working this way, you're not going to have shoulder problems anymore because there's no chaturanga to deal with, right? So now the full version, I'll come up to downward facing dog. So from downward facing dog, if I tend to have a narrow downward facing dog, which is fine, when I start to wave, I want to step back a little bit so that I've got enough space to unfold forward. So the action is the same. On the inhale, the heels lift, the hips move forward, I'm rounding in the back, I'm watching my navel so I can stay nice and curved in the upper back. When the shoulders are over the wrists, I change the action, slowly lowering the pelvis as I lower the hips towards the floor. Here I'm going to stay nice and buoyant so that there's nothing rigid going on in my back. And if I feel uncomfortable with the heels up, at this point I can untuck the toes and place the tops of the feet down. When it's time to go back to downward facing dog, tuck the toes back under, push the hands forward to send the hips back. One more time. As you inhale, lift the heels, round in the back, send everything forward until the shoulders are over the wrists. And then exhaling as you lower the pelvis, lift the chest. Take a nice deep inhale here. get some space, get some lightness in your upward facing dog, and then exhale, push the hands forward, send the hips back into downward facing dog. Great, so if you start to integrate that into your practice, you'll relieve all that pressure on your shoulders from those chaturangas.